All right, guys, so this next story is if my spouse has intentions of cheating but he doesn't, am I the asshole for dumping him? I'm Brian. Let's jump right into the story. Am I the asshole for dumping my boyfriend after he got a surprise from his ex? So, we've been together just over 13 months. Now, I'm a female. I'm 27 years old, and I'm planning on moving in together in about 4 months with Luke. He's male. He's 29, when his lease is up. Now, we've been to loads of events together. Weddings, engagement parties, birthdays, even his grandparents' wedding anniversary party. We were due to attend his friend's wedding in a neighboring country when, a few weeks ago, he told me he didn't want me to go. It was just as I was booking my flights. I asked him why, and he said I would be bored. I know his friend group well, so it's not like I wouldn't know anyone. Anyway, despite many heated discussions, he was adamant. This left a bad taste in my mouth, and I felt something was off. So 7 of my friends and I decided to go for a break at the beach while gone and then extended it to a full week. My friend Jim's parents had a house at the beach less than 2-hour drive away, and the weather was supposed to be good, so we were excited. We were leaving on Wednesday and due to be back the following Wednesday morning early and going straight into work. I didn't even bother telling my boyfriend. Honestly, it felt like he wouldn't care, and I was on the brink of breaking up with him, but decided to enjoy the beach break first. I get a call from Anna. She's 26 years old, a female friend of mine out of the blue. And it was the girlfriend of my boyfriend's best friend, Sam, who's 29. He had been due to travel with them. She overheard Luke talking to Sam. Sam was asking if he really wasn't going to bring me to the wedding. Luke said yes because his ex Lucy, late 20s I think, had finally RSVP'd. She was going and really delayed. She texted Luke and told him she couldn't wait to see him again and had a surprise for him. They'd broken up 3 years ago and she lived abroad and they kept in touch a little as far as I knew. Luke is convinced that the surprise was sex, and this has been some kind of running joke with them when they dated. Anyway, he didn't want me there messing up his chance of having sex with Lucy. He said it was a once-off, but he had to do it. Well, that was enough for me. I knew I'd be dumping him, but didn't want a week of him texting or harassing me to forgive him while I was at the beach, so I held off until we got back. On Tuesday, Luke texted and said he was sleeping over at mine until Thursday, as he would be leaving early Friday morning and would be gone until Sunday. He didn't ask, he just told me. I replied that he couldn't, as I was leaving very early on Wednesday morning for a week's vacation, and would see him next week. Told him not to worry about keeping in touch because I was planning to be phone-free on my vacation as much as possible. He asked why I hadn't told him I was going on vacation, and I just said I thought I had. He wanted to know who I was going with and 100 other questions. I told him we would talk then when he got back, and I was busy packing and to enjoy the wedding, and I hoped it was full of surprises for him. He didn't reply. We had a fantastic vacation. The rain held off, and we stayed on the beach all day and hit the clubs and local bars and restaurants at night. I didn't post on social media, but was certainly tagged in a lot of pics. He texted me a few times Thursday and Friday, but just general flight leaving now, and I got here okay stuff. But on Saturday, the day of the wedding, he really texted and called out a lot. The texts were all how he misses me and he made a mistake not bringing me. I didn't reply and didn't answer any calls. Same on Sunday. Then he got home on Sunday night and wanted to join us at the beach. I told him no, he would just be bored. So Sunday night, Anna rang me and couldn't stop laughing. His ex Lucy turned up to the restaurant Friday to the group dinner, and her surprise was that she was 7 months pregnant with her new husband's baby, and her shiny new husband was with her. Lucy played a cruel but hilarious prank on him, but it also ended our relationship, and I was grateful to Lucy for showing me who he really was. Luke arrived to mine Wednesday after I got back and was love-bombing me, telling me how much he missed me and apologizing again. At that point, I told him I knew why he didn't bring me and that the surprise wasn't sex but a pregnant ex and her husband. So I told him it was over. He planned to cheat even if he didn't get the chance to. I was laughing at how Lucy pranked him, but honestly, I was still hurting on inside. He tried to get me to change my mind, but because he hadn't actually cheated, but I wouldn't. So am I the asshole for dumping him even though he didn't actually cheat? So this next story up is definitely a good one. If someone banned someone you love from a wedding, would you still go? Am I the asshole for refusing to attend my brother's wedding because he banned my husband? I'm 28 years old. I'm a female. I've been married to my husband, who's 32 and a male, for 3 years. My husband and I have a great relationship, but my family has never fully accepted him. My husband is a tattoo artist, and he has a lot of tattoos and piercings, which my family, especially my 30-year-old brother, disapproves of. They think he's trashy and not good enough for me because of his appearance and his profession. My brother is getting married in a few months, and he sent out invitations recently. When I got mine, I was shocked to see it was addressed only to me. I called my brother to ask why my husband's name wasn't included, and he told me that he and his fiancée decided that they didn't want my husband at their wedding because they believe his appearance would distract from the big day and that he doesn't fit in with their vision of a classy event. I told my brother that if my husband wasn't welcome, then neither was I. My brother got really upset and said I was being unreasonable and selfish and that I should just come alone for the sake of family. He accused me of choosing my husband over my family, and I said I'm ruining his wedding by making this about me. I argued that if he truly cared about me and my happiness, he wouldn't put me in this position. Now my entire family is divided. Some think I'm right for standing by my husband, but others think I'm petty and that I should just suck it up for one day. Am I the asshole for refusing to attend my brother's wedding because he banned my husband? Okay, guys, this is Brian. This next story up is something that usually happens the other way around, so it's kind of unusual. Let's jump right into this story. Am I the asshole for hooking up with a married woman and causing her divorce? I'm 21 years old. I'm a male, and I've been hooking up with a woman who's 32 for about 6 months. It started as something casual. We met through a mutual friend at a party, hit it off, and things escalated from there. I knew she was married, but she told me that she was in an unhappy marriage and was planning to leave her husband. She made it sound like the divorce was already a done deal, so I didn't feel too guilty about it. We continued seeing each other, mostly late at night, and during the time she said her husband was out of town. I'll admit, it was exciting at first. I was young, she was older, and it felt like something out of a movie. But things started getting serious when she began texting me constantly and wanting to spend more time together. She would vent about how terrible her husband was and how she couldn't wait to be free from him. A few weeks ago, her husband found out about us. He was devastated and immediately filed for divorce. She called me in tears, blaming me for everything. She said that if it weren't for me, her husband wouldn't have left her, and that now she has nowhere to go and nothing to her name. She even suggests that I should take responsibility and help her out since I ruined her life. She has 2 kids, a 10-year-old son and a 7-year-old daughter. She claims that her husband is going to fight for full custody and that it's my fault that her kids might end up living with him instead of her. She says that because of me, her life is falling apart and her children might grow up without their mom around. I feel bad about the situation, but I also think it's unfair for her to put all the blame on me. I never forced her to cheat, and I wasn't the one who filed for divorce. I'm also not in a position to support her financially or emotionally. I'm still trying to figure out my own life. So, am I the asshole for hooking up with a married woman and causing a divorce, knowing she has kids? All right, next up, guys, this is kind of a crazy story. I'm Brian. Let's get right into it. Am I the asshole for breaking up with my girlfriend because she stood on the side of a rapist? Well, I broke up with my girlfriend because she stood on the side of a rapist of my best friend, who's a female. Now, my best friend was in a relationship with someone that touched her inappropriately quite often. She luckily broke up, but she told me why she had broke up, with tears in her eyes. But my girlfriend said that she faked it. Her explanation was that she'd talked to her ex and he said that she's just making this up. She also faked texts that my best friend supposedly wrote to her containing death threats. Now, my ex also told me that I should talk to him, which I tried, but he ghosted me. She said it was my fault because I texted him too dry. I also had a feeling that my ex didn't like my best friend and she tried to destroy our relationship. Now, my ex was on the side of the rapist, which I don't really accept, so I broke up. She said that I'm an asshole for breaking up because of such a stupid reason. Okay, update. So, I'm sorry if there's a lot of grammar errors. I'm from Germany, and I also did mean rape. I meant sexually assaulted. Now, second update. My ex is now in a relationship with the other guy right after we broke up, and thanks for all that support. So in this next story, it's all about family accepting other family, and when they don't, it just creates chaos. So let's dive into this story. Am I the asshole for telling my mom and dad they can't be in my child's life if they don't accept my wife? You see, my wife and I are expecting our first child, and we're excited. My parents' attitude is putting a damper on things, though. They've never been accepting of my wife, and now they're expressing concerns about how we'll raise our child. They've made comments about how my wife's beliefs and lifestyle are different from ours and how they're worried about the child being influenced. I've told them that if they can't accept my wife and respect our choices, then they don't have a place in our child's life. They were shocked and said I was being cruel, that grandparents have the right to be involved. They argued that I'm pushing them for not agreeing with everything we do, but I want a supportive and a loving environment for my child, that one filled with judgment and disapproval. So am I the asshole for setting this boundary? Wow, here's one you've got to help us out on. Let's get right into this story. But kind of what's going on is if you're married and you're going to break up and maybe get a divorce and then you meet somebody else while you're broke up and have relations, does that mean you've cheated? Especially if you end up getting back together with your original spouse? Let's jump into the story and find out what happens here. So am I the asshole for sleeping with different women when we were separated with my wife? That's the question. We were married to each other. I'm a 32-year-old male. My wife's 32. She's a female. We've been married for 5 years. However, she told me she fell out of love with me, was looking for something different last year. Even though I tried to convince her to stay, she decided to move forward, and we were separated for a little over a year. I couldn't move on first, but accepted that's what she wanted after several months. However, one side of me always hoped for her to come back, which she did 3 weeks ago. She told me she wanted to try things out again, and which I was content to. We started seeing a couples counselor next week with the intent of aligning our feelings and thoughts before moving in together again. One of the questions that was asked if I've been in another relationship during that time or any other women. Counselor told us honesty is the way to go here, so I came clean. I went to a club, I got drunk, I slept around. I was in a phase for a few months and slept with about 13 women in total. I knew she was dating around and was honest with going on dates with 3 men. However, when I told my part, she got frustrated. Now she thinks we can't get back together, but I told her we were separated in that divorce process back then. I think it's possible to get back together now. That I talked about my dating life during our separation, but I wonder if I was an asshole for sleeping around when we were separated. Come on. All right, this next story up, guys, I need some advice. This is Brian. Let's dive deep into this story. It gets a little complex. So my daughter's 18. She caused an issue with the neighbors. I'm 45, a female, and don't know what to do. Can you please give me some advice? Yesterday was my birthday, but it went to shit when my daughter yelled out of her bedroom window to the neighbors to fix their fucking car. Now, the neighbors were newer to the neighborhood and have a car that the alarm is constantly going off. Now, for the past 3 or 4 months, it goes off at least 3 times a day. Sometimes it's 5 or 6 times per day. It's extremely annoying. I have no idea why they don't pull the wires or whatever. Perhaps it's not that simple. I have just ignored it. But yesterday, she apparently had enough. They were furious, naturally. Called her a bunch of names and were angry. I can totally understand, but now I don't know what to do to make things smooth. I was so angry with my daughter. I was beyond angry with her reaction and behavior. I insisted she go and apologize, and I'm thinking of going with her just to make sure everything goes okay. I'm just nervous and embarrassed and upset. I mean, I'm a single mom with no family, and any advice is appreciated. They live next door. I don't want any problems. I just want peace.